You'll learn about many confusing word forms. You'll watch interesting video lessons on tricky word forms, including pronouns, adjectives and adverbs, nouns and verbs, and prepositions. You will also do plenty of exercises so that these word forms are no longer confusing to you. It'll be great.
Confusing pronouns. What are pronouns? Pronouns are words that replace or refer to nouns. For instance, we can say Maria is a veterinarian. Maria is an animal doctor. But instead of saying Maria twice, which is repetitive, we can say she. She is an animal doctor, and she refers to Maria. This is just one type of pronoun. There are many different types of pronouns that you've learned or will continue to learn. But in this video, let's focus on 4 of them. Beginning with personal pronouns. You can have subject or object personal pronouns. These are pronouns you're probably familiar with already. But they can be a little tricky to use when you have compound or combined use of pronouns with other nouns, such as I with an or me with an. Let's look at some examples. Which sentences are correct? I and Anne are good friends. Anne and I are good friends. You know Anne and me. You know me and Anne. Anne and I is the correct order, not I and Anne. Also, Anne and me, not me and Anne. This is easy to remember. It's more polite to put yourself after others. Also, if you have more nouns, it's the same thing. You would say, Thomas and I are good friends, and you know Thomas, Anne, and me. Now let's move on to possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns. You know all of these words, I'm sure, but do you know the difference between using the adjective form and pronouns, such as the difference between my and mine? Let's look at an example. This is my company. My is an adjective form. It describes company. This company is mine. Mine is a pronoun, so it replaces a noun. It acts as the noun. In this list are words that can be easily confused with contractions. Those include your, its, and their. You must be very careful with these words. But let's practice, starting with your. We're going to fill in these sentences using your, the possessive adjective, and your, the contraction, which means you are. For the first sentence, you want to use the possessive adjective. Your flight leaves at 3 p.m. For the second sentence, you want to use the contraction. You're leaving at 3 p.m., which means the same as you are leaving at 3 p.m. Now let's practice using its. Here are two sentences about the Eiffel Tower. Use its the possessive adjective or pronoun, and it's the contraction, which means it is. For the first sentence, we want to use the contraction. It's called the Eiffel Tower, which means the same as it is called the Eiffel Tower. For the second sentence, we want to use the possessive adjective. Its total height is 1,063 feet. Great. Now the third word is there. There as a possessive adjective is pronounced the same way as the contraction they are, as well as the adverb there. See if you can finish these sentences using the correct forms. For the first sentence, you would use the adverb. There are some cats outside. For the second sentence, we need a subject and verb. They're Mrs. Porter's cats. They are Mrs. Porter's cats. For the third sentence, we need to use the possessive adjective. Their owner is Mrs. Porter. Nice job. Let's move on to talk about reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns end in self and selves, and they refer back to the subject of a sentence. But reflexive pronouns are sometimes incorrectly used as subjects. Let's look at some examples of how they can be used and how they should not be used. He helped himself to the drinks. In the first sentence, himself is the direct object of the verb helped, and himself refers back to he, the subject. In the second sentence, himself is the indirect object. Drink is the direct object, and himself refers back to the subject he. In the third sentence, himself is a part of a prepositional phrase, for himself. He made a drink for himself. And again, himself refers back to the subject he. In the last sentence, himself is used incorrectly. You may not say himself made a drink. Instead, simply use the pronoun he. He made a drink. Great. Let's look at one more example. Cindy taught how to play guitar. Cindy taught whom? Well, Cindy taught herself how to play guitar. You would add the reflexive pronoun after the verb because herself is being used as the direct object of the sentence. This sentence tells us that Cindy taught herself. No one else taught her. Okay, now let's move on to indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns do not refer to a specific thing. Here are some examples. These words can be difficult to use if you do not know whether they are singular or plural. Another, everyone, somebody, and anything are singular indefinite pronouns. Another is preferred. Everyone is here now. Somebody is at the door. Anything is okay. Many is a plural indefinite pronoun. You would say, many are late. And none is a special pronoun because it can be singular or plural. You can say, none is ready or none are ready. Here are some more indefinite pronouns. These are all singular pronouns. And here is a shorter list of plural pronouns. I want to focus on 3 words: either, neither, and both. These words can only be used when describing 2 things. For instance, either is perfect for sailing. Neither is good for fishing. Both are great for sailing. Now let's talk about those special indefinite pronouns that can be used as either singular or plural pronouns. We've looked at none. Now let's look at some. Some are ready to hatch. When referring to a count noun like eggs, you would use are. Some are ready to hatch. But in the case of tea, which is a non-count noun, then it would be appropriate to use is. Some is being brewed. Great. We've looked at lots of different types of pronouns. The best thing to do now is to keep practicing. Thanks for watching.